Okay, guys, I'm gonna go through a quick one. This is a little bit older build. It's pretty close to what we're using in production and what you guys started porting off of. Couple features here. Actually, I'm gonna jump right in and show you the important stuff. Um, I'm not sure if this is working. I haven't tested it in the most recent one, but as you can see, this pops up a description of what the skill point means. So engineer skill shows you the engineering thing. I'm not sure if that's working. That's a bug that was reported. I'm not sure if it's fixed in the Android version. And so let's get a guy with a lot of engineering skill, and whatever. Okay.
Welcome, Commander.
One thing I want to notice, or one thing I want to show you guys, is that we always show an autosave as soon as the game gets created. So, right, this autosave was just created. We're not showing that in the current Android build. I'm not sure if the autosave function is working. In the iPhone version, we save the game automatically every time we warp. So, going back here, looking at this, we have one autosave. We always have one autosave here, and it was just when the game was created. So we see the science timestamp of from about a minute ago, and if I warp, okay, there's no narcotics. That's okay. We'll just warp. Couple things real quick here. We need to implement this. This is a little bar graph that shows the distance, how far away from the spaceport you are. I'm going to go back to that, but what I want you to see, when we end this encounter, we're going to see that the game was auto-saved, and we'll be able to load that auto-save if we want. So, we're pretty close on the encounter. This little icon is needs to be added, but we're pretty close on the encounter. And I don't want you guys to worry. Okay, so we got some damage. Let's see. So this is how you would normally play through the game, and I'm going to show you a couple things that have to do with saves, like I just talked about, and have to do with the game options. So if you're playing the game a lot, this gets pretty tedious to constantly have to press flee. Like in this case, I don't have any weapons, so I don't really have any option but to flee. I always have to flee. So that's where the game options are. Okay, so I'm getting some damage. I should see that damage hopefully get repaired since I have so much engineering skill, but maybe we'll die instead. Oh, okay, I managed to escape. Looks like I might die on this one. Okay, we made it. So we warped, from here to here, and we're gonna see now. If I go to load the game, you'll see that the timestamp increased. There's still only one game here, and that's the auto save slot, but the time increased. The reason why this is so important is that if something happens, if you get a call, and I know the Android multitasks and maybe it's not an issue, but if there's a crash or there's something that happens, if I exit the game on the iPhone, I can go right back in and load my game and be back where I was. So we should be saving the game automatically, auto-saving after you complete the warp. If you die in between, then it would delete the autosave. It would if you died before you made it to the warp, it would delete the autosave automatically. For the game options thing, what this is really about is it's automating some of these tasks. So we have this screen in the Android version, and there's some of this stuff that is pretty self-explanatory, whether you want the various types of sounds, whether you turn the music off, turn the music on. That's pretty self-explanatory, and whether or not to auto-load your saved game. These settings I don't think are working. Jayton, I'm hoping ask about them. And basically what they do is they automate some of those features. So I want to always get a full tank of fuel on arrival. I want to always get a full hull repair. I don't like to buy the news myself. And here are some ones that you were asking about. This is basically the autopilot. So I want to ignore police when it's safe, ignore pirates when it's safe, ignore buying traders, ignore selling traders, and I can set autopilot to auto flee. Since I don't have any weapons, it doesn't really, this just means I don't have to press flee a bunch of times, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to shorten the encounter sequence a lot for me, but if I'm playing the game a lot, and a lot of these guys do, it's kind of nice. It makes it fast. The game plays faster. So as you can see right here, one of the options I turned on is auto buy, is to automatically buy a full tank of fuel. It hasn't activated yet since we haven't warped since we set the options. So this time I'm going to have to go and buy a full tank of fuel. And I will do my own repair here. But from now on, I won't have to do those functions. So now we have a full range, and I can take off. And so what happens here is I get a prompt, and then my auto I get the prompt the first time. I'm encountering this guy, and I can choose whether to attack him or not. If I say flee, it's just going to keep fleeing until he lets me go or I die. So I'm going to say flee. It says autopilot mode is active, and basically what it's doing, see, I'm getting damaged here. I might blow up because I constantly. Okay, so in that case, basically the game is pressing the flee button for me. In that case, I blew up because I am a crappy pilot. But the game was pressing flee for me a bunch of times, and I was fleeing. But that's what those settings are doing. And as you can see here, we were killed. If I go to load, there's no saved games because I didn't save any games. I was just relying on the autosave. So that's about it. The jump starts. These are games that we've created to help people get a little bit further into the game. I don't think we implemented that button yet, but on the Android version. But basically, it's just a standard. It's basically a pre-saved game, so I can start with 14,000 credits and get a little bit further into the game, and I can make the character whatever I want still, but it's going to create a character for me. I can name the character whatever I want, but it's going to create it's gonna load that character with certain characteristics and a bunch of money. So that's what that does. And I think that's pretty much all the questions you asked for. Again, I think the current Android version, and I'm uploading a video for that right now. It isn't saving these settings at all. So in the Android version, if I turn this on, I go back out and I come back in, it's off. It doesn't save the settings. And I don't think these are working, or at least the display's not working. I haven't tested I don't think it's actually working to do these things for you either. So that's it. Anything else? I think, we got the system information stuff going. I know we're getting the tabs. By the way, there's some graphical problems in this game, in this particular iPhone version, so don't focus too much on that, like the colors of these things. It's just because I wanted to show you a little bit older build. This isn't exactly a production build, but so again, pretty standard. I don't have automation. I don't have the autopilot on, so I'm having to press this button every time. And have to go through pretty much the whole thing manually.
Standard orbit achieved.
And I keep talking about quests. I don't have one to show you right now because you have to play pretty far through the game, and that's going to be a little bit tough to do. I might have to do it on the simulator to show them to you. You have to get a larger ship and a certain amount of money, and then you'll be offered quests. And I'm sure you guys have seen those in the code. But we're not quite at that point where we can test those yet because we still need to get some of the little encounter bugs worked out. So hope this helps. Thanks.